Halloween Night by R.L. Stine. Brenda Morgan snapped the rubber band on the Halloween mask, then held it up in front of her face. The mask had an enormous eyeball that drooped down to its chin. One long tooth poked out between blood-spattered lips. Across the room, Brenda's friend, Tracy Warner, made a disgusted face.
What's that supposed to be, Bren? A monster?
No, it's my cousin Halley.
Dina Smithers, her long legs tucked beneath her on the window seat, turned to inspect Brenda's mask.
Why are you always picking on Halley?
I'm not. That was a compliment.
Brenda thinks Halley is a monster.
She is a monster.
You should give the poor kid a break. Brenda's just angry because Halley took her room, and she had to move into this closet.
It's not a closet. I like this room. It's cozy. Anyway, it isn't her room for permanent, you know. Halley's only living here until her stupid parents work out their stupid divorce.
You're not wearing that mask to your Halloween party, are you, Brenda?
No, it's my little brother Randy's mask.
So what's your costume gonna be?
A clown?
Brenda, you bought a clown costume?
No way. Hey, I can sew anything. I started making it last Saturday. It's gonna be the weirdest clown costume you ever saw.
What's Halley's gonna be?
Brenda opened her mouth to answer, but before she could, a loud shout, coming through the air vent on the floor near the wall, interrupted her.
Turn down that music. I can't hear myself think down here.
Sorry, Mom.
You have to remember to keep it down. The air vent comes down into the hallway, and I could hear every note.
Sorry.
You girls want anything? Some Cokes or something?
No thanks, Mom. We're okay.
Is Halley up there with you?
No, I haven't seen her.
She promised she'd help me fertilize the rhododendrons this afternoon.
I haven't seen her, Mom.
All right, then.
Hallie's always doing that. She's Little Miss Perfect around my parents. So polite. Always volunteering to help with the chores and stuff.
What's wrong with that?
She just does it to make me look bad. When my parents aren't around, she does nothing but complain about them.
Oh, come on, Brenda. You're not being fair. She's probably just nervous. I mean, it would be really hard to have to live away from home and go to a new school in your senior year and everything. And Halley's probably really messed up about her parents. Can you imagine? Your parents going to court and having a battle over who gets to keep you? That could really mess you up.
Okay, she's been through a rough time, but that's no excuse. You know, when she came here last month, I thought it would be kind of neat, like having a sister my own age. But Halley hasn't been friendly at all.
Come on, Brenda.
It's true. She's constantly taking my clothes without asking, and the other night she couldn't find her government text, so she took mine and claimed it was hers. I even think she's been flirting with Ted.
Are you and Ted going to the homecoming dance?
I guess.
Noah and I are going to drop by, but we're probably not going to stay. School dances are always such a bore.
Do you have a date, Dina?
Dina stood staring out the window, her lips drawn in a pout.
Hey, look who's coming up the driveway.
Huh? Who?
It's Halley. And guess who she's with? Ted.
What? I don't believe this. Look at how she's grinning at him. What are they laughing about? What's so funny?
Calm down, Brenda. There's no law against walking with Ted, you know.
There should be a law against that disgusting grin. Look at her tossing her blonde hair around. That's so cheap.
Oh, no, look at the time. I'm late for work. Dr. Harper will have a fit. Are you still working in that vet's office? Cleaning up after the poodles? Later, guys.
But before Dina could reach the doorway, Halley walked in, grinning and pushing her light blonde hair back off her forehead.
Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Hi.
Ted entered the room behind her, glanced at Brenda, then quickly looked away.
Can I borrow your car, Brenda? Just for an hour? Ted offered to give me a driving lesson. Isn't that great? Borrow my car?
Well, you don't mind, do you? We're just going to drive to the mall parking lot so I can practice parking.
No, okay.
Moving to the dresser, Brenda picked up the keys to the little blue Geo her dad had bought her for her 17th birthday. She handed the keys to Halley, her eyes on Ted.
Call me later, Ted? After dinner? Maybe we can study the math together.
Yeah, good, Brenda. See you later.
See you, Brenda. I'll try not to total it. Let's go, Ted.
Okay.
Do you believe it? She takes my boyfriend and my car and doesn't even say thanks or anything.
Brenda, I have an idea.
Huh? What kind of idea?
Let's murder her.
In a corner of the vast concrete mall parking lot, Ted was instructing Halley on the finer points of parallel parking. Now he sat twisted in the front passenger seat, craning his neck to peer out the rear window.
Okay, now turn the wheel a little more and back it up.
Like this?
Whoa! Oh,
Oops.
never mind. Pull it forward a little, then ease back again. Here now, put your arm on the back of the seat and turn so you can see better.
Okay. Am I turning the wheel right?
A little more. A little more.
Phew, I did it. Do you think I'm getting it?
Yeah, it's not so hard once you get the back in.
This is really nice of you, Ted. I mean, giving me this lesson.
Well, I had an hour free, so...
Ted's voice trailed off as he noticed that she hadn't removed her hand from his arm. Now she squeezed it through his sweater.
Everyone's been so nice to me. The Morgans have been just great. I don't know what I would have done. I couldn't stay at home. It was such a nightmare. Lawyers in and out, my mom and dad shrieking at each other, everyone crying all the time.
That's really bad news. Say, maybe we should practice parking one more time. It's getting pretty close to dinner time.
Ted tried to pull his arm out from under her hand. As he moved away, his hand brushed Halley's bag, which toppled over, spilling its contents on the floor at Ted's feet.
Oh, sorry. Hey! What's this? A driver's license with your name on it. You already have your license.
Give me that. It's not a very good picture of me, is it?
Halley, I don't get it. You already have your license. Why did you want a lesson?
Halley raised her eyes slowly to Ted's and wet her lips.
I just wanted to get you alone.
Then, before Ted could remove the startled expression from his face, Halley reached over and slid her hands around the back of his neck, pulled his face down to hers, and kissed him. The kiss lasted a long time. When it ended, they were both breathing hard.
Hey, whoa, we shouldn't, you know. I mean, we shouldn't.
Then Ted moved close for another long kiss. When the kiss ended, Halley brushed back her hair and smiled.
Wow. Now what are we going to do about Brenda?
Brenda's little brother Randy was in her bedroom teasing and generally being a nuisance. Tracy and Dina had come over after lunch to work on a writing project for English. Their teacher, Mrs. Ryland, had given them an assignment to write a murder mystery. But so far, they hadn't gotten any work done because Randy was being such a pest.
Randy, get lost. Why are you hanging around here? Dina and Tracy and I are trying to work.
No, you're not. You're sitting around talking about boys, as usual.
Cute. Very cute. Now go. Charming, isn't he?
It runs in the family.
What's that supposed to mean?
Did you go out with Ted last night?
Brenda nodded. She picked up the clown costume she'd been working on when her friends had arrived and began stitching a sleeve.
We didn't do much. Ted seemed really distracted. I mean, he barely said a word, like his mind was on something else.
Weird.
What's new with Halley, Brenda? You two getting along any better?
I guess. I kind of get the feeling she's been avoiding me, which is fine with me. Every time we do run into each other, Hallie has the strangest smile on her face, you know? A really smug smile, like she has a secret or something.
So, are we really gonna murder her?
Yeah, let's. I'll really enjoy that.
That's really sick. I mean, what happens when she finds out? She'll really be hurt.
I know.
Mrs. Ryland is such a cool English teacher. She really thinks of great writing assignments.
Well, plotting a murder mystery isn't going to be that easy. I mean, we know who we want for our victim.
Yeah.
But now we need suspects and clues.
Yeah, we need plot twists. You know, some surprises. What did Mrs. Ryland call them? Red herrings?
Yeah, false clues to fool the reader, throw them off the track, and false suspects. Hey, I know. Let's make it a Halloween murder. You know, at a costume party.
Oh, that's great!
Yeah, and Hallie gets stabbed or something. And since everyone's in costume and it's a really crowded party...
Like yours is going to be.
Wait a minute, I don't like this. It's too real.
Huh? What do you mean?
Maybe we shouldn't use real names. Maybe we should just make up people. It's supposed to be fiction, right?
But Dina, it'll be so much more satisfying to kill Hallie off, even if it is only on paper.
But it's so mean. Someone will tell her. She's bound to find out, Brenda.
You think it's mean because you don't have to live with her. She's the one who's mean. Why are you always sticking up for Hallie, Dina?
Huh? I'm not really. I just think that you're not being very understanding. Hallie is obviously going through a really terrible time. I remember when my parents split up, and...
Dina's voice trailed off. Suddenly, a flood of memories swept over Brenda. Staring hard at Dina, she thought,
Gosh, I completely forgot. Dina went through the same thing. Dina's parents had a terrible custody battle over her, and Dina freaked out or something. No wonder Dina always takes Hallie's side. She's been through the same nightmare.
Dina turned away and stared out the window. Then, suddenly, her mouth dropped open.
Dina, what is it? What's out there?
Nothing.
Brenda and Tracy both rushed up beside her and pressed their faces to the window. There in the driveway stood Ted's old Honda Civic. It took Brenda a while to focus on what she was seeing. Suddenly, she realized with a jolt that Hallie was kissing Ted.
Oh, murder Hallie for real for this. I really will.
The next morning, Brenda awoke early, dressed for school, and hurried downstairs to the kitchen where her mother was preparing breakfast. Mrs. Morgan was alone. Hallie was still upstairs in her room.
Mom, I really have to talk to you about Hallie.
Oh, not again, Bren.
Mom, she's ruining my life.
Brenda, we've had this discussion before. Remember, I told you to be patient with Hallie. It's her life that's being ruined, you know.
Mom!
No, stop. You and Hallie are seniors in high school. You should be able to solve your own differences and get along. You shouldn't have to come running to me like a 10-year-old.
Why do you always take her side?
Brenda, settle it with Hallie. Don't make me choose sides.
At that moment, Hallie entered the kitchen, a bright smile on her freshly scrubbed face.
Morning, everyone!
That afternoon, at the end of school, Brenda stepped out of her 7th period study hall and bumped right into Dina.
Hi. What's wrong? Why the frown?
Bad day. I read the wrong pages for the Spanish exam.
Wow, that is bad news. Listen, can you come to my house tonight to work on the murder plot? It's due right after Halloween.
I could come over after work. About 8?
Okay, good. I'll call Tracy and tell her to come too. Oh, by the way, what's your costume gonna be? You know, for my party?
I don't know. I think I'm just going to be a monk.
Huh? A what?
A monk. I found this huge old brown bathrobe with a hood in my mom's closet. I guess it used to belong to my dad. It looks like a perfect monk's robe. Anyway, I'm not good at sewing and stuff like you and Tracy. Gotta run, Bren. See you tonight.
Brenda watched Dina disappear out the double front doors of the high school. Then she turned the corner to head for her locker. And stopped. There was Halley near the end of the hall, with her hands on the shoulders of a boy wearing a Letterman sweater. She was smiling at him with red lipsticked lips. And the boy was Noah, Tracy's boyfriend. Noah and Halley were laughing about something. She pretended to slap his face, then let her hand glide over his cheek. Noah turned bright pink.
I don't believe this. First she kisses Ted right in my driveway, and now she's coming on to Tracy's boyfriend in front of the whole school? What is her problem? I have to find Tracy. I have to tell her.
A girl called to Brenda, and she turned to say hi. When she turned back, Brenda saw that Noah was alone now, and he was staring down the hall at her. Then he started toward her.
Brenda, hi.
Hi, Noah.
I saw you watching us.
Yeah?
Listen, Brenda, Halley and I, we were just talking, you know? I mean, that's all. We're in the same math class. We came out and we were just kidding around about math.
Uh-huh.
So you don't have to run and tell Tracy that I was coming on to Halley or anything, okay?
Hey, I won't say anything. I'm not a cop, you know.
It's just that I know you and Tracy are best friends and, well...
I'm not gonna run to Tracy every time you talk to a girl in the hall. Listen, I've got to get home.
Yeah, okay. See you. Hey, your cousin's really nice, you know?
That night, Tracy came over right after dinner, eager to get started on the murder mystery plot. Brenda was dying to tell her about seeing Noah and Halley laughing and flirting in the hall together, but somehow she held it in. The effort made her tense and uncomfortable all evening. Dina arrived a little after 8. The 3 girls sat around in Brenda's room, trying to plot their Halloween murder, with little success.
I'm just not inspired tonight.
Me neither. I'm too tired to murder anyone tonight.
Let's try again tomorrow. Think about it, okay? I'm sure we can come up with a good way to murder Halley. We have to.
A few minutes after Tracy and Dina left, Ted called.
Brenda, I have to talk to you.
No way I'm talking to you, Ted. No way.
Brenda leaned over the desk and stared down at the blur of tiny words on the page of the history textbook.
I can't concentrate on anything tonight. Halley must be boy crazy. First Ted, then Noah. And tonight she had a study date at another boy's house. Is she trying to win over every boy in school? Oh, I have to stop thinking about her. Maybe I should get up early and read it in the morning when I'm fresh.
As Brenda started to get up, her eyes went to the window across the room. A man's face was staring in at her, his eyes bulging, his mouth wide in an ugly, leering grin.
Ah!
When Brenda screamed, the man's face remained set in its ghastly, open-mouthed expression.
Brenda! What's the matter?
As she stared at the bulging eyes, Brenda realized he couldn't move. He wasn't real. The face was a cardboard cutout taped to the outside of the glass. With a trembling hand, Brenda pulled the face off the window.
Brenda, what happened? I heard a scream and...
I'm sorry. This face, it was in the window. I thought it was a man.
A man?
Brenda's eyes fell to the back of the mask. Something was written there.
Hey!
Brenda, you scared me to death.
Me too.
There's something written on the back. It says, "See you on Halloween." Funny joke.
Hey, don't look at me, Bran. I didn't do it.
Randy, did you deliberately scare your sister like that?
No way. I didn't put that mask there. Really.
Then why are you grinning?
I'm just grinning, that's all. But I didn't do it, Brenda. I didn't.
Brenda turned her gaze on Halley, who had an amused expression on her face.
Hey, don't look at me. Why would I tape a dumb mask to your window?
It was just a silly joke. Why are you so upset, Brenda?
I guess I'm a little jumpy or something.
Really, what a fuss over nothing.
Mrs. Morgan turned and followed Randy out the door. With a smug smile, Halley hurried after.
I hope you don't have bad dreams because of it.
Brenda picked up the mask and looked at the scrawled words again. What did it mean? Was it just Randy or Halley playing a dumb joke? Or was something really going on? The next day after dinner, Tracy came to Brenda's house for a practice run at carving jack-o'-lanterns for the party.
Yuck! This pumpkin goo is really gross.
Save the seeds. We can roast them when we're finished.
Okay, I'll get a big spoon. We've got to really scrape this pumpkin clean or else it'll start to smell.
Hi, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Emergency at the animal clinic, and I had to stay late.
Tina, you look tired. You've got circles under your eyes.
I am tired. Oh, I wish I could quit this job, but we really need the money. My dad lost his job, and he hasn't been able to send Mom and me a penny. I can't believe you're carving a jack-o'-lantern already. Your party isn't for 2 more weeks. It'll rot.
This is a practice one. I want to have a lot of jack-o'-lanterns at the party, all with candles in them.
That'll look great.
Brenda's so nervous about this party.
Oh, I'm nervous about everything lately. There. I think it's all cleaned out. Now, I want to draw the face on before we start to carve.
What's it gonna look like? Pinhead?
Well...
Brenda started to reply, but she stopped with her mouth open as the enormous figure of a gorilla filled the doorway. The bulky animal lumbered to the table and grabbed a kitchen knife in its hairy hand, raising it menacingly over the pumpkin.
Oh!
The gorilla lowered the knife. Then it raised a hand to its head, tugged hard, and pulled it off.
Halley! What do you think of the costume, guys? Like it?
Where'd you get that gorilla suit?
Upstairs in the attic. Uncle Michael showed it to me. It was in an old trunk.
It's a great costume. It's so hairy.
Yeah, it looks so real.
I'm gonna wear it to your party. It's perfect. I didn't scare you, did I, Brenda?
No, I was just surprised. It is a great costume. I've never seen it before. I wonder why Dad never showed it to me.
Halley glanced at the kitchen clock above the stove.
Say, can I borrow your car, Bran? I'll be really careful. I promised I'd meet someone at the mall, and your parents took their car. Please, Bran?
Brenda saw that both Tracy and Dina were eyeing her, waiting to see how she'd react. And she decided she really had no choice.
Sure, Halley. Take the car. The keys are on the table in the front entryway.
Thanks.
That was nice of you.
Too nice.
Tracy picked up a black marker and started drawing a face onto the hollowed-out pumpkin.
Do you like this face, Bren?
Pretty good. Make the teeth bigger. They'll be easier to carve.
Halley really scared me, bursting in like that in an ugly costume.
I think she wanted to scare us.
Lots of scares around here lately. You should have been here last night.
Brenda told them about the mask taped to the outside of her bedroom window, with a message scrawled on the back of it.
That was one of Randy's little jokes, right?
I don't think so. Randy swears he didn't do it. I think Halley did it.
Huh? Why? Why would Halley do a dumb thing like that?
Beats me. Why does Halley do anything?
Give the poor kid a break.
Let's change the subject. I've been thinking about our murder plot.
Yeah? Here, pass me that knife and I'll start cutting out the eyes. You have an idea about how Halley is going to get it?
Well, I still like the idea of making it a Halloween murder.
Yeah, that's cool.
At a costume party, like the one you're gonna have.
When everyone's in costume, see, and Halley is in her gorilla suit.
Yeah! And then?
Tracy pulled the knife from the pumpkin, raised it high, and made some quick stabbing motions with it.
Chop, chop.
Yes! I like the idea that she's stabbed in the gorilla suit.
No one knows she's been stabbed. She's sitting in a chair, and everyone thinks she's just sitting there enjoying the party. Until they see this blood stain start to grow bigger and bigger and... Yeah, I like it.
But we still need some kind of plot twist, you know. So you think you know who killed Halley, but it turns out to be someone completely different?
How about Ted? What if he's the murderer?
Leave him out of it. He's not invited.
Have you talked to him?
No way. No way I'll ever talk to him again. That creep.
So Ted's not invited to your party?
No way. He called me, but I hung up on him. Then he tried to talk to me in the lunchroom this afternoon, but I ran out the door. I think maybe he got the hint.
I've nearly finished the mouth. Anyone else want a card?
Oh, finish it. You're doing a neat job. I've got to get home anyway. Bren, I hope Halley didn't just borrow your car to go meet Ted.
I hope not, for both of their sakes.
A few minutes later, after Tracy and Dina had left, Brenda cleaned up the kitchen and went to wash and change. In the upstairs hallway, she noticed the lights were on in her bedroom.
That's strange. I don't remember leaving the lights on.
Brenda moved down the narrow carpeted hall to her room and stopped in the doorway.
It's blood! Blood! Smeared all over the wallpaper.
Then, to her horror, she saw that the dark blood smears spelled out words.
See you on Halloween?
The following night, Brenda and Tracy were seated across from one another in a red vinyl booth near the rear of Mulligan's, an enormous ice cream restaurant at the mall.
Halley did it. I know she did.
So what happened when your parents got home? Did they freak?
Did they? My mom wanted to call the police.
Boy, so did you tell them it was Halley?
Yes. But of course they didn't believe me. My dad said, "Where would Halley get all that blood?"
You mean it was real blood on your wall? It wasn't red paint?
It was real blood, Tracy. Isn't that sick?
What is she? Some sort of vampire or something? You're sure it couldn't have been your little brother?
Yes. Where would Randy get blood? Besides, he isn't tall enough. The writing started nearly up at the ceiling. Randy is a goof, but he wouldn't do anything vicious like that.
So what happened when Halley got home last night?
Nothing. She acted horrified as if she couldn't believe it. I know she did it, Tracy. We all heard her go upstairs last night. I know that's when she did it, while we were working on the pumpkin.
But why would Halley do it?
Because she's sick, I guess. This whole divorce thing has just messed her up. Maybe she's jealous of me, you know, because I have a normal family. I don't know, Tracy. I really don't. It's crazy, just crazy.
Did you talk to Dina tonight?
She's working late. Poor Dina. She looks so tired, doesn't she? I think she should quit this job, don't you?
Brenda suddenly realized that Tracy wasn't listening to her. Instead, she was staring over Brenda's shoulder, her face frozen in wide-eyed shock.
I don't believe it!
Brenda turned her head to see what Tracy was staring at. In the corner booth along the back wall, Halley and Noah, with tall soda glasses in front of them, were holding hands across the table, and Noah had a dreamy look on his face.
I don't believe it!
Tracy, what are you doing?
Tracy was making her way quickly toward the guilty couple, her hands clenched into fists.
Oh, wow. I guess I should have warned Tracy about Halley and Noah, but I didn't know they were actually seeing each other.
Brenda followed her. By the time she reached the corner booth, Noah's face was red with embarrassment.
Wait a minute, I was gonna call you. Really, Tracy?
I don't believe this, Halley. I don't believe that you...
Whoa! What's your problem, Tracy?
Huh? My problem? My problem is that you are sitting here holding hands with Noah, and he's my boyfriend.
I didn't force Noah to come here with me. Anyway, it's not like you own him.
I really was going to call you, Trace.
That's so lame. Don't ever call me again, Noah.
Tracy stormed off toward the exit.
Tracy, wait up!
Minutes later, they were in Tracy's car, heading for Brenda's house. Outside, a gusting wind threw drops of rainwater onto the windshield.
I wanted to pour that soda over her head. I really did.
First Ted, then Noah.
Your cousin really is messed up.
Tell me about it.
You have to get rid of her. You really do.
What can I do? My mom told me her parents' court hearing was put off for 3 months.
Oh.
That means Halley will be staying with us all winter.
Did I act like a total jerk in the restaurant?
No way, Tracy. Halley is the total jerk.
Don't leave out Noah.
They're both total jerks.
Call you later, maybe.
Yeah, Trace, later.
Brenda had walked nearly to the front stoop when she realized her little blue Geo was gone. She stopped short and stared at the empty driveway. In the house, she found her parents sitting in the living room.
Dad, my car, it's gone.
Well, Halley took it.
What do you mean Halley took it?
She borrowed it, dear. She said you said it was okay.
Huh? But that was last night. I really didn't say...
Brenda.
You weren't using the car, and Halley needed it, so I didn't see any harm in letting her take it. Brenda, it's not like you to be selfish.
You're really not being nice to your cousin, you know.
I have to go upstairs and change. I'm all wet.
Halley said you'd bring the car back early. She just had a study date.
I know. I saw her.
Brenda, wait. I have an apology to make. The guy who was supposed to come today, you know, to remove the wallpaper and paint your room, he didn't show up. He's coming tomorrow, he promised me.
You mean?
Yes. The words, they're still there. If you'd rather sleep downstairs on the couch tonight, I'd understand.
No. I'll sleep in my room. It's okay.
Oh, and by the way, Ted called.
What did you say to him?
Just that you were out, that's all. What was I supposed to say?
Nothing. That's fine.
Brenda made her way to her room. The scrawled words greeted her as she clicked on the ceiling light. Forcing herself to look away, she changed into a long flannel nightshirt. On a corner of her desk, the jack-o'-lantern they had carved the night before grinned at her.
Gosh, the Halloween party's less than 2 weeks away and I haven't done a thing about it. And what about Ted? Should I give him a call? Am I still furious at him? I don't know.
Brenda settled herself at her desk to do some homework. After about an hour, she heard Halley come in. Brenda quickly closed her door. She certainly did not want to see Halley again tonight. She glanced at the clock. A few minutes past 11. She decided to go to bed. She turned out the light. Then, as she pulled down the covers, the jack-o'-lantern on the desk across the room caught her eye. In the gray light from the bedroom window, it grinned at her. An evil grin.
You're not going to grin at me like that all night.
Padding barefoot across the shag rug, Brenda turned it until it faced the wall. Then she crept back to bed and pulled the covers up to her chin. Outside the window, the wind howled, sending sheets of rain pattering against the glass. A flash of lightning cast the room in a brief, silvery glow. The scrawled letters on the wall seemed to pop out at her. Brenda closed her eyes.
I've got to get to sleep. I'll be a wreck tomorrow. I really have to turn off my mind. Got to get to sleep.
Then something across the room caught her eye. Something moved. She raised her head on the pillow, squinting into the darkness. And as she stared, she saw it move again. The pumpkin. It began to turn. Brenda stared in wide-eyed horror as the face rotated into view. Its sharply cut features began to glow. The triangular eyes, the crooked nose, the jagged, toothsome grin, all glowed orange-yellow, as if an invisible candle had been lit inside.
No!
Then, as Brenda stared, the wide mouth began to move, and she heard the jack-o'-lantern's voice, dry as wind, dry as death.
See you on Halloween.
No!
Brenda sat straight up in bed, her heart pounding. Staring through the gray darkness, she saw that the pumpkin had turned back to the wall. No, it hadn't turned back, she slowly realized. It had never moved. It had been a dream. An ugly nightmare, as ugly as the scrawled words on her wall. For a long time, Brenda stared hard at the pumpkin. Then she let her head sink back to the pillow and fell into a deep, dreamless sleep. The next afternoon, after school, Brenda was crossing Oak Ridge Street in front of the high school when she saw Ted loping after her.
Hey, Brenda! Whoa! Hey, we still have a date for the homecoming dance?
Huh? Are you kidding me? What makes you think I'd go with you?
I just thought you might want to. Listen, Brenda, I'm really sorry. I've been calling you for days, you know. And every time you just hang up.
You're sorry about what?
About, you know.
Halley broke up with you, is that it? She's going out with Noah now, so you decide she'll come back to me, your second choice.
Huh? Noah? Halley is going out with Noah? Since when?
You really didn't know that?
Really? Your cousin Halley sure gets around.
Tell me about it.
She's nice, though.
Brenda didn't reply. As they stopped at the corner, he suddenly put his arm around her shoulders. She started to pull away, then decided not to. She realized she was happy they were getting back together.
I still really like you.
I like you too.
I just think we should see other people too, you know. Not be so serious.
Ted's words stung Brenda, but she forced herself not to react.
Did you ask Halley to the dance first?
No way! I asked you weeks ago. Remember?
Ted leaned his head down and kissed her. His lips were dry and scratchy against hers. Brenda returned the kiss, but Halley spoiled it, creeping into her thoughts.
Did he kiss Halley like this? Oh, she's spoiling everything. If only she'd go away, forever. We'd all be so happy.
That night, Tracy stayed for dinner, and afterwards, the two girls went up to Brenda's room to wait for Dina to come from her job. Brenda took the opportunity to tell Tracy about how she and Ted had made up. Sort of.
Anyway, I guess I'll go with Ted Friday night. It's our last homecoming dance, after all.
So where's the lovely Halley Benson tonight? Out scouting more of the local talent?
I have no idea where she is. I barely speak to her anymore.
Does she care?
Not much, as long as she can borrow my car whenever she wants.
Yeah.
Hey, guys. I can hear every word you're saying.
It took Brenda a moment to realize that Dina's voice was coming from the air vent on the floor.
Really? You can stand in the hall down there and hear every word. Good thing you weren't gossiping about me.
We were just going to start.
So, are we ready to kill Halley?
I know I am.
Wait, let me get a pad. Okay. We've got to get serious about this murder. We have to turn the assignment in a week.
I have some good ideas. I've been thinking about murdering Halley a lot. In fact, I've been thinking about nothing but.
At least you've kept your sense of humor.
Who's kidding?
Brenda, your dad and I are going out to the Smithsons for a few hours. Watch Randy, okay?
Okay. Good. Now we can go downstairs and do our plotting in the living room. It's much more comfortable than this cramped little closet.
Yeah.
Even if it does have nice white walls now.
In a few minutes, the girls were settled in the living room, sprawled over the furniture.
So, what are your ideas? How does Halley get it? Is she strangled?
No, forget strangling. It's too good for her.
Maybe we should hang her. We could have her tied up
I
and...
think we should change our victim's name. You and Tracy are taking this too seriously. You're starting to scare me.
You think we really want to murder Halley?
Yeah, you're giving me the creeps.
Let's stick with stabbing. It's a Halloween party, yes?
Right. Halley is in her gorilla suit. I'm a clown.
Uh-huh.
Dina's a monk. And Tracy, what's your costume gonna be?
A peacock.
A what?
A peacock. I've got these great peacock feathers, and I've made this great-looking peacock tail. I found a bird mask in a store, and I'm going to sew these little tiny...
Okay, so you're a peacock. Let's stick to our murder. Which one of us gets to stab Halley?
Mrs. Ryland said it should be the least likely suspect.
Well, I guess that's you, Dina.
Yeah.
I mean, Tracy and I have good reason for hating Halley, but you don't. So you should be the murderer.
But we have to make it tricky. We have to make...
a Coke or something. Can I get anybody anything?
Bring 3 Cokes.
As Dina disappeared toward the kitchen, the front door opened and Halley came in.
Hi, guys.
Without waiting for a reply, she hurried up the stairs. Moments later, Dina returned with the 3 Cokes.
Right. We're at the costume party, and Dina convinces Brenda to switch costumes with her. Dina takes the clown costume, and you put on the monk costume.
Why would I do that?
So when the clown stabs Halley, everyone thinks the murderer is you.
I don't know, Tracy.
It's real tricky, don't you think?
But then, what happens when I pull back my monk's hood? Everyone will know that it wasn't me. And then I'd tell everyone that Dina was wearing my costume, and the whole thing would be over.
Well, maybe Dina has to kill you, too, so you don't reveal the secret.
A double murder. Maybe Mrs. Ryland will give us extra credit.
She won't give us any credit at all if we don't finish this assignment. But we're making progress, I think.
Plotting a murder is harder than I thought.
I'm glad it isn't something we have to do every day.
Shortly after, Tracy and Dina decided they had to get home to do other homework. After Brenda closed the door behind them, she checked on Randy, who was watching television in the den. Then she went to the kitchen to clean up, thinking about the murder plot.
I should be the killer, not Dina. I'm the one who should murder Halley. She's my cousin, after all.
She was still thinking about it as she climbed the stairs to her room. Upstairs, she saw that Halley had her door closed.
What's she doing in there? Planning whose boyfriend she's gonna steal next?
In her room, Brenda pulled out her government text and dropped it onto her desk. Peering out the window, she saw the glare of headlights down below, followed by the slam of car doors. Her parents were home.
Good. They can get Randy to bed.
She left the window and lowered herself behind her desk, and realized with a jolt that the jack-o'-lantern was glowing, grinning at her behind its jagged smile.
Oh, who lit this thing?
And then the sour aroma filled her nostrils, a smell like rotten meat. Her stomach churned.
Ooh, a pumpkin couldn't smell this bad, could it?
Holding her breath, Brenda pulled off the lid of the pumpkin and peered inside. The fetid odor rose up, thick and foul. The short candle in the center of the pumpkin glowed brightly. And beside the candle lay a small, dark form. Brenda's eyes focused on it. It was the body of a bird.
No! No!
A headless bird, with tendons and blood vessels poking through the open cavity of its neck. The bird's body lay smoldering, stinking, beside the low candle. Brenda swallowed hard, struggling to hold back the wave of nausea that swept over her. Then something else caught her attention. Something beside the bird, a folded-up piece of paper. Her hand shook as she reached inside and carefully pulled it out. The foul smell overwhelmed her. She started to gag. Somehow she managed to unfold the paper and read the dark, scrawled words.
You're next on Halloween?
With a moan of surrender, Brenda leaned over her desk and started to vomit.
Brenda? Are you okay? What is it, dear?
Ugh, what's that smell?
In the jack-o'-lantern. Look, Daddy.
Oh, my God.
Yuck. Who would do such a thing?
Blow out the candle, Halley.
Come on, Brenda, dear. Let's get you cleaned up.
Halley did it. Halley put it in there. She's trying to drive me crazy.
I did not. I don't even know what it is.
She did it!
Brenda, stop! Now then, let's get everything cleaned up and get this disgusting pumpkin out of here. Then we'll go downstairs and talk this out, calmly and rationally.
I really don't know why Brenda is accusing me. I wasn't even in Brenda's room. I don't go where I'm not wanted.
Well, somebody is vandalizing Brenda's room. These things aren't being done by a ghost. Randy, are these your little jokes?
No way. No way, Dad. It wasn't me.
Someone must have broken in. Through Brenda's window, maybe.
That's impossible.
But who would do such awful things to you, Bren, and why?
Ask Halley.
Stop accusing me!
Let's keep our voices down. Let's try to stay
Just
calm.
stop accusing me!
You did it! You know you did it!
Brenda, stop!
Don't yell at me, yell at her!
You've been so horrible to me ever since I came here. You never gave me a chance, Brenda. What did I do to you, huh? What did I ever do to you?
Don't listen to her! She's evil! I know you won't believe me, but Halley is evil!
I don't believe this! I want to go home!
She's evil! Evil!
Brenda, stop! Now pull yourself together.
Brenda, Halley is going through such a tough time. I can't believe your attitude toward her. It's sick, Brenda. It's really sick.
Go to bed now. Get some sleep.
And tomorrow, I want you to apologize to your cousin.
The next afternoon, Brenda met Dina in the high school lunchroom and related the unpleasant events of the night before.
No, I didn't apologize. No way I'll ever apologize to her.
Whoa. Calm down. You can't let it get to you, Bran. You're letting her win.
It's not just Halley. It's my parents. They just take Halley's side no matter what.
Weird.
Halley smears blood on my wall and puts a disgusting dead bird in my room with a threatening note. And my parents say I'm not being understanding of her. It just isn't fair. How can I be understanding? Halley is a monster. A monster.
Hey, have some lunch. You'll feel better. Really.
Well, I'll never feel better while Halley is in my house. You know, I never even told my parents about Halley and Dad. Can you imagine? Living in the same house and trying to steal my boyfriend.
But you and Ted are okay now, right?
Brenda was about to answer when someone grabbed her shoulders from behind.
Guess who?
Ted!
Speak of the devil.
You were talking about me?
Don't get a swelled head. We weren't saying anything nice. Sit down.
Thanks.
I've got to go. I'll come over later. Okay, Bran?
Yeah, good. Oh, I have to work on my government paper, but come anyway.
See you later, then.
Dina's so tall. She should try out for basketball.
She hates basketball. And don't ever say anything like that to Dina. She's terribly sensitive about her height.
What'll she do if I call her Beanpole? Hey, what flavor is this yogurt? You want it?
You can have it. I'm not very hungry.
Brenda suddenly realized Ted wasn't listening. He was staring at something across the room.
Ted?
Following his gaze, Brenda saw that Halley had entered the lunchroom, snuggling against Noah, who had his arm around Halley's shoulders.
What a touching scene.
Looking back at Ted, Brenda felt a cold shudder run down her back. Ted had the strangest expression on his face, an expression Brenda had never seen before. Sadness and envy and anger, all mixed together. That evening after dinner, Brenda was staring at the screen of her computer monitor, trying to make some progress of the government paper.
How's it going? Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to scare you. Your mom let me in.
I thought you were Randy. He's been begging me all night to play Super Nintendo.
Oh.
I'm not getting too far with this paper.
No? Well, let's see. Oh, well, you spelled your name right at the top. It's a good start.
Thanks for your support.
How did it go with Ted at lunch? Are you two okay now?
I don't know. I guess we're okay. It's not like before, though. I caught him staring at Halley and Noah with the weirdest look on his face.
Uh-oh. You're still going to the homecoming thing with him?
Yeah, I guess.
Speaking of Noah, where's Tracy tonight? She coming over? Are we going to work on our murder plot?
No. Tracy had to go to some cousin's house or something with her parents. She can't come.
Oh, Tracy has a million cousins. I wish I had a big family.
You do? How come?
Dina was about to answer when Halley suddenly burst into the room, her face twisted in alarm.
Brenda, I'm so sorry. There's been a horrible accident. A horrible accident.
Halley turned and ran down the stairs and out through the open front door into the night. Brenda followed her, her heart pounding. The front porch light was on, casting a triangle of light toward the driveway. Behind her, Brenda could hear Dina's footsteps following.
Halley, what is it?
Then Brenda saw the car. Her prized Geo. The passenger side was pushed in. The windows were shattered. The door appeared to be bent in half. Brenda suddenly pictured a crushed soda can.
It wasn't my fault. I didn't see the stop sign. I don't know this neighborhood very well. The stop sign was kind of hidden.
You went through a stop sign?
But it wasn't my fault. The other car, it shouldn't have been going so fast. If it had been going slower, then it could have stopped. So you see...
Oh!
Something snapped inside Brenda. She leapt at Halley, and her hands wrapped around her throat. Then they were down on the cold, hard driveway, surrounded by blackness, rolling in the shadows. Suddenly, Brenda felt herself being pulled roughly away, leaving Halley still on her back in the grass.
Brenda, stop! Look what she did! Stay the car! It wasn't my fault! It was an accident!
Of course it wasn't an accident. You did it, Halley. You did it to my car.
Brenda, that's enough. There. Can I let you go now? Is it over, Brenda? Can you control yourself now?
Yes.
It was just an accident, Brenda. We should be grateful that Halley wasn't hurt.
As Mrs. Morgan put her arm around Halley's shoulders, Brenda caught a flash in Halley's eyes. It was there for less than a second, but Brenda caught it. A gleam of triumph, of victory.
I'll kill her. I'll kill Halley for real. I really will.
The next morning, Dina called Tracy before school.
Tracy, it's me. Dina, what is it? I'm running a little late this morning.
Tracy, you're going to be late for school.
I know, Mom.
Tracy, I'm really worried about Brenda.
Brenda? What's Brenda's problem? What did Halley do this time?
Wrecked her car.
Oh, wow. Not the Geo. Brenda loves that car.
Halley practically totaled it, and Brenda went psycho.
She freaked?
She tried to strangle Halley in the driveway. It was horrible. The two of them were crying and wrestling around on the ground. I really think Brenda was trying to kill her.
Oh, wow. That's bad.
Mr. Morgan had to pull them apart.
Is Brenda okay?
She wasn't hurt, but I think she's really messed up. I'm so worried about her.
She'll be even more messed up when I tell her what I saw yesterday afternoon.
Tracy, get off the phone!
I'll be off in 1 minute, Mom. Give me a break, okay?
Huh? Tracy, what did you see? What are you talking about?
I have to get off. My mom is having a cow.
You have to tell me.
After school yesterday, I stayed late. I had some stuff to do in the computer lab. Anyway, I went out back, by the student parking lot. The only car still in the lot was Ted's red Honda.
Yeah? So?
Ted was in the car. And guess who he was making out with?
Halley?
You won the prize. They were going at it like...
Tracy, come on! I can't wait any longer!
Coming, Mom. I'm hanging out now.
But I thought Ted and Brenda were back together.
So does Brenda.
I mean, they're going to the dance tomorrow night and everything. Maybe you shouldn't tell Brenda what you saw, Tracy. She's so messed up already.
Yeah, maybe. You're probably right, Dina. But do you believe Ted?
He and Halley deserve each other.
I was tempted to call Noah up and tell him about Ted and Halley. Noah is so dumb. He thinks Halley is only interested in him.
Halley sure is messing up a lot of people.
I guess you and I will be home tomorrow night while everyone is at the dance. stuffing ourselves with microwave popcorn and watching TV.
I guess.
I've got to get off. I hear my mom on the steps. Bye!
Poor Brenda.
At school, Brenda had trouble concentrating all day long. She had the feeling that people were staring at her, gossiping about her. She had lunch with Ted, sitting across from him in a corner of the lunchroom. He seemed nervous, uncomfortable, which wasn't like him at all. Brenda told him about Halley smashing up the blue Geo, but she didn't mention the fight.
Was the car totaled? Can it be fixed?
My dad took it to the garage this morning. I guess I'll find out later.
Bummer. That was a neat car.
Yeah, bummer.
We'll take my car to the dance. Should I pick you up before the game, or do you want to meet at the stadium?
Pick me up. If the dance is a drag, we don't have to stay.
The rest of their shared lunch was passed in awkward silence. When the bell rang, Ted jumped up quickly and hurried from the lunchroom without waiting for her. Brenda had the feeling he was glad their lunch was over, as if he were eager to get away. At home that evening, Brenda's mood didn't improve. Halley ate an early dinner by herself, then hurried upstairs to her room and slammed the door. When Mr. Morgan got home from work, he had news.
Brenda, your car can be repaired. It'll be expensive, but the insurance will cover most of it.
Will it be like new?
Well, it'll look okay, but cars are never really quite the same after an accident.
Brenda nodded and took her place at the dinner table. It was a quiet dinner. She excused herself early, having eaten only half, and hurried upstairs to work on her government report. Tracy and Dina came over later, a little after 8:30, to talk about the murder plot. Brenda was glad to see them at first, but her mood darkened when she realized that Tracy and Dina were uncomfortable and tense around her, too. No one could concentrate. Finally, the three girls gave up. Brenda was actually relieved when Tracy and Dina left a little after 10. Brenda's side still ached from the fight the night before. She felt so sleepy she could barely keep her eyes open. In the living room, she announced to her startled parents,
I'm going to bed.
At 10 o'clock? Are you sick?
Just tired.
Is Halley going to sleep too?
I don't know, Mom. I haven't seen her.
She hasn't been out of her room all night. I think she's really upset.
Brenda was too tired to discuss Halley. She muttered goodnight and made her way, yawning, up to her room. There, she slipped off her clothes and pulled on a long nightshirt. She clicked off the overhead light and eagerly slid under the covers. It took only a few seconds to realize that something was wrong. Brenda felt something damp on the back of her nightshirt. Squirming, she felt another damp spot on her shoulder. Something lumpy and wet. Something was in the bed.
Oh!
Brenda jerked upright and leapt off the bed, shoving the covers away.
What's going on? What is it?
She lurched for the light switch and clicked on the ceiling light, and saw the dark blobs on the sheet. She realized at once what they were. Wet chunks of dark, raw meat. She could smell them now, the putrid aroma of rotten flesh. Staring hard, Brenda saw that the meat appeared to move.
No!
Tiny white worms were crawling on the meat chunks, hundreds of them.
Maggots! Maggots in my bed!
Brenda opened her mouth to scream, then stopped, staring at the crawling maggots.
No. I understand now. Yes. Now I know what I have to do.
The homecoming dance was a lot more crowded than Brenda had expected. McKinley had lost the football game 28-14, but the loss didn't seem to dampen anyone's spirits. Loud voices and laughter rose up over the steady drone of the music as Ted led her by the hand to the dance floor. The gym was decorated with alternating rows of balloons, hundreds of them, all blue and silver, the McKinley High colors. The gym lights were low and bounced off the balloons, making the room appear to shimmer and move. Brenda thought it was like being in a dark thunderstorm with lightning flashing all around. Ted was a dark figure moving in rhythm a few feet in front of her, one of several dark figures shaking and moving inside the whirling storm. For a while, Brenda lost herself in the music. She closed her eyes and floated happily, dreamily, thinking about nothing at all. When she opened her eyes again, Ted was gone, and she was standing alone. Stunned, she made her way off the floor. There was a tall figure by the refreshment table.
Ted?
Hey, Brenda. How's it going?
Oh, hi, Mark. You see Ted?
Ted, want a brownie or something?
No, thanks.
Hey, Brenda! Hi!
Della, hi. You see Ted?
I saw him dancing with you. You lost him?
Yeah, I lost him.
Try the lost and found!
Thanks.
A short while later, Brenda found him, against the far wall near the double doors. She didn't see Ted first. She saw the piled-up blonde hair, Halley's hair. Then she saw Ted, kissing Halley, the two of them leaning against the tile wall. He had one arm around her bare shoulders. Brenda moved closer, watching them kiss. In front of everyone, the whole school, here was Ted, her date, kissing Halley, her cousin. No wonder everyone had been staring at Brenda all week. And then, as if out of nowhere, Noah appeared, with a look of rage on his face. He was pulling Ted away. Ted shoved Noah. Noah shoved Ted. Then Noah was pulling the front of Ted's shirt, and Ted shoved Noah into the wall. Then they were outside. Brenda didn't remember following them out into the night. Noah was pulling Ted, Ted pushing Noah. Halley ran after in her short, sexy dress that hung off her shoulders.
Stop it! Stop it now! Stop it!
They were in the parking lot behind the school. Narrow beams of white light angled down onto the parked cars from tall poles. Noah shoved Ted hard into the wire fence. Ted pulled free and his fist shot out. Noah kicked at him and Ted sprang forward and with a loud grunt shoved Noah and sent him sprawling backwards over the hood of a car. In mute horror, Brenda turned away and started to run. She knew now what she had to do. It didn't take long to reach home. She pushed open the front door and ran up to her room. She grabbed the phone and punched in Tracy's number.
Hello?
Tracy, it's Brenda.
Brenda, are you home already? Dina's here. What happened? Why are you home? Why do you sound so weird?
You know our murder plot? You know our plot to murder Halley?
Yeah?
Let's do it, okay? Let's really kill her.
The next afternoon was gray and menacing. Tracy and Dina had come to Brenda's to share lunch. Then they went up to Brenda's room to talk. As soon as they were in the room, Brenda closed the door, making sure it clicked shut.
Now we can talk without being disturbed.
Bran, were you serious last night? I mean, about what you said on the phone?
Deadly serious.
Oh, wow.
You mean we're gonna plan a real murder?
We've already planned it. For Mrs. Ryland's assignment.
But that was just for fun.
Murdering Halley will be fun.
I can't believe you can sit here so calmly and talk about killing your own cousin like it's nothing.
I've thought about it a lot. I know we can do it. Sit down, Dina. You're making me nervous standing like that. Come on, we've got a lot to talk about.
Are you sure you can't just talk to Halley? I mean, if you tell her...
Tell her what? That I don't want maggoty meat in my bed anymore? That I'd really prefer it if she kept the headless, decaying birds to herself? That I don't need her stealing my boyfriends and deliberately wrecking my car?
Okay, calm down, Bren. We know what you've been through. Halley stole my boyfriend, too.
There's no point in talking to her.
I'm sorry. I just thought...
Killing Halley will be so easy. I've got it all planned. We just switch costumes at the party. No one will know who did it. And then
Whoa, back up, Bren. Not so fast. What do you mean, switch costumes?
Oh, look. Everyone knows I'm going to be a clown, right? I've told everyone I've invited to the party.
Yeah, so?
And everyone knows that you're going to be a peacock.
If we can get my tail feathers to stay on.
And Dina's going to be a monk, right? So what if we switch costumes?
Look! What's that? Another costume?
It's a Frankenstein costume. I bought it at a party store yesterday.
Well, who's going to wear that?
I am, don't you see? I tell everyone I'm going to be a clown, but instead I wear the Frankenstein costume, then you wear the clown costume. So everyone thinks you're me. And Dina can wear the peacock costume, so everyone will think she's you.
So we're all in different costumes. Then what?
Then I kill Halley. I stab her in the chest in that heavy gorilla suit. No one will even see the blood.
Where will you get the knife?
That's no problem. My parents have these really sharp kitchen knives. I'll use one of them. Then I'll change into Dina's monk robe before anyone realizes that Halley has been stabbed. See? I'll stab Halley as Frankenstein. And then the Frankenstein will completely disappear. And if anyone questions why the three of us are in each other's costumes, we'll say we did it at the last minute as a goof. Just for fun. It's perfect, isn't it?
Yeah. There's just one problem.
Huh? Problem?
Yeah. I'm not doing it.
Dina!
No way. I can't do it, Brenda. I know you hate Halley, and I know she's done some horrible things to you, but I just can't do this.
Dina, listen.
I won't try to talk you out of it, and I won't tell anyone what you're planning or what I know. But I won't be a part of it, Brenda. I can't murder someone. I just can't.
Here, Tracy. Try on this clown costume.
Huh? Tried on? Now?
It isn't quite finished. I still have to put the big buttons on the front, but we have to make sure it fits you.
You mean we're still gonna switch costumes? Even after what Dina just said?
Yeah, right. You'll be the clown and I'll be the peacock.
But, Brenda, what if...
You know what? I'll make the Frankenstein costume really big and baggy, so it'll fit over the peacock costume. Then, after I stab Halley, I can go into the other room and tear it off, and I'll be all set to reappear as the peacock.
And you'll hide the Frankenstein costume?
Yeah, sure. I'll shove it down the laundry chute. No one will ever think to look there.
I don't know, Brenda.
Come on, Tracy. Don't just stand there. Try on the clown costume. We don't have time to waste.
Meanwhile, below Brenda's room on the ground floor, a figure stood in the narrow hallway between the living room and the kitchen. She stood very still, very straight, as if paralyzed. The figure was Halley. She had been standing in the hallway for a long time under the air vent that led up to Brenda's room, and she had heard every word that was said. That night, Brenda borrowed the family car to drive to the mall to get the thread and buttons she needed for the costumes. The sewing store was in a corner of the mall, near the auto service center. Brenda parked, crossed the parking lot, and pulled open the heavy glass door of the mall, stepping through a blast of warm air into the brightly lit corridor. Win a new Corvette! The banner caught her eye as she entered. Beneath the banner was a shiny red Corvette. And standing beside it were Ted and Noah. Brenda stopped short. She wasn't sure she was seeing correctly. No, it was definitely Ted and Noah. She watched as Noah gave Ted a playful shove. The two of them laughed heartily.
Huh? I don't believe this.
Brenda pictured the two boys tearing at each other in the dark parking lot the night before. And now, here they were, joking and laughing together. Brenda stared at them. She felt a wave of disgust rise over her.
Boys are jerks.
Then she remembered she didn't want Ted and Noah to see her. She turned abruptly in the direction of the sewing store, but too late.
Brenda! Hey, Brenda! Whoa, Brenda! Wait up! Brenda, hi. I was going to call you, Bren.
Oh? How did you enjoy the dance?
Yeah. Listen, I'm sorry. I messed up.
Yeah, you did, Ted.
I guess if I said I'm sorry...
It wouldn't do you any good.
But I really am sorry, Bren.
Yeah, me too. I'm real sorry.
You know, you could give me another chance. It won't happen again, really. I swear to you, Bren.
That's for sure.
No, wait! Your Halloween party, I guess you don't want me to come now.
Suddenly, Brenda had an idea. It was so mean, so bad, it made her laugh out loud.
You can come to the party, Ted.
Huh? I can?
Yeah, sure. Just about everyone from McKinley is coming. You might as well come too. Do you have a costume?
Not yet.
Well, you can do me one favor.
Sure, anything.
Come as Frankenstein.
Huh?
There are some good Frankenstein costumes at the party store over there. Come as Frankenstein, okay?
Okay, Bren, you got it.
Hey, Ted, what's happening?
Hang on, Noah. I've got to get going. Listen, Bren.
See you at the party, Frankenstein.
At the sewing store, Brenda found the materials she needed to complete her clown costume and picked up some thick foam padding. As she drove home, she thought about how really well the afternoon had gone. Running into Ted hadn't been such a bad thing after all. She couldn't wait to tell Tracy and Dina how she had maneuvered Ted into a Frankenstein costume. The same kind of costume the killer would be wearing. What a riot! Thinking about it cheered Brenda up a lot. Dina's decision not to join in had come as a surprise. But then Dina had always defended Halley since the day Halley arrived. Dina had some kind of soft spot for Halley, Brenda decided. Was it because Dina's parents had gone through a terrible divorce and a long, drawn-out custody battle, just like Halley's parents were doing now? Brenda shuddered, thinking about Dina. They had been such close friends. But during the divorce, Brenda just couldn't bear to be with Dina or to see her. It was just too horribly sad. Brenda had been glad when the mess was all settled and Dina was happily living with her mother, and she and Tracy and Dina could all be friends again. Yes, she had been very glad. But now Dina was breaking away from the trio again, refusing to join in.
Too bad. Too bad. But I guess I can understand.
Brenda pulled her father's Pontiac up the driveway and cut the engine and the lights. Then, grabbing up her package, she hurried into the house. To Brenda's surprise, the light was on in her bedroom. She hesitated at the doorway and peered in. Under the harsh yellow light from the ceiling lamp, Halley was sitting on her bed, her blue eyes brimming with hatred.
Come in, Brenda. I've been waiting for you.
Brenda stared at Halley, studying her face. Halley's hair, which usually fell freely around her head, was tied tightly back. Her expression was set, as if chiseled in cold stone.
What are you doing in here, Halley? What are you doing in my room?
Come in, Brenda. We have to talk.
What do we have to talk about?
Oh.
Halley?
Have I really been so hateful? So hateful that you wanted to kill me?
Halley, listen to me. Listen.
I didn't mean to be so horrible. I thought you and I could be friends. I thought...
Halley dropped onto the bed and covered her face with her hands, her shoulders trembling. Feeling dizzy, Brenda lowered herself to the other side of the bed and waited for Halley to stop crying. After a while, Halley's sobs quieted.
I really didn't want this to happen. I really thought you and I would be friends. I didn't mean to be so awful. I didn't mean for any of it to happen.
But it did.
I was just so scared, Brenda. So insecure. I was freaked out about having to live away from home, away from my friends and my parents.
Yes, I see.
I was worried about my mom, especially. She was so dependent on Daddy and on me. And now, I didn't know how she'd get along. I didn't know if she could get along.
I was just so scared, you see. And when I came here to stay, I was in really bad shape. My head was just messed up. And you weren't friendly, Brenda. You didn't want me here, I could tell.
Now, wait.
No, it's true. You made me feel like an intruder. Maybe I imagined some of it, but I don't think so. There I was, staying in your room, meeting your friends, and I could feel you didn't want me, Brenda.
Halley, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I'm the one who's sorry. I'm the one who took away your boyfriend, who tried to show you, to teach you a lesson for rejecting me.
You took away Tracy's boyfriend, too.
I really can't explain that. I don't know why I did it. I guess I wanted to prove that I was as good as you and your friends, that I could fit in, too. Oh, I was just so mixed up, so hurt and so bitter. I wasn't being myself. I was so scared. So scared. Oh, Brenda.
Oh, it's okay.
Please forgive me. Let's start all over.
Of course. Halley is really sincere. She really wants for us to be close. She really is sorry for everything that has happened. What a shame. What a shame that I have to go ahead with my plan anyway.
Tracy stood in her kitchen, her back against the wall, twisting the phone cord around her wrist. At the other end of the line, Dina's tense voice broke the silence.
The whole thing is making me very nervous. Is she really gonna do it?
I think Brenda's serious. I think she's going ahead with the plan.
I'm just so scared for her, Tracy. Shouldn't we do something?
Like what?
Like call the police.
They wouldn't believe it, and Brenda would just deny it.
Well, maybe we should warn Halley. Or tell Brenda's parents what Brenda is planning to do.
They wouldn't believe it either. They would never believe that Brenda was planning to murder Halley.
But if we tell them the whole thing...
If we tell them the whole thing, Brenda will say the murder plot is just a school assignment. She'll show them the paper we wrote up, and that will be that.
I'm just so scared.
I feel bad for Ted. That's such a mean trick Brenda's playing on him, having him come to the party in a Frankenstein costume.
I know. If anyone sees Frankenstein stab the gorilla, they'll think Ted did it.
Brenda has such a cold sense of humor.
Are you and Brenda still trading costumes?
Yeah, I'm gonna be the clown. She's gonna be the peacock.
Oh, she's gonna do it. I know it. What are you thinking? Come on, spill. What are you thinking, Tracy?
I was thinking about Noah, the little rat.
You want Brenda to kill Halley, don't you? You really want her to go ahead with it.
Yeah, maybe I do.
Meanwhile, in the kitchen of the Morgan house, Brenda and Halley worked together at the table, carving sinister jack-o'-lantern faces in 6 large pumpkins in preparation for the party.
What a messy job.
Well, we're done. That's the last one. Just look at all that gunk.
You have seeds in your hair.
You have pumpkin stuff on your forehead.
Whose idea was this anyway? I mean, 6 jack-o'-lanterns. I have to be crazy.
They'll look so pretty when they're lit up. Where are you going to put them?
On the floor, against the living room wall, and I'm going to turn off all the lamps so the only light in the room will come from the jack-o'-lanterns.
It'll be neat.
Brenda watched Halley wiping her hands on a paper towel. They'd been getting along so well, she thought. Halley had been such a big help this afternoon.
Want to roast some pumpkin seeds?
No way. I never want to see a pumpkin or a pumpkin seed again. Really.
By the time they'd cleaned up the kitchen and carried the 6 pumpkins into the living room, they were even more covered with orange seeds.
First shower.
Okay, but hurry. This stuff is starting to smell. Yuck.
Brenda hurried upstairs, her mind whirring with thoughts of the party.
I'll put the hot cider on the table by the front door. That way, kids can help themselves to cider as soon as they come in. Then they'll walk into the dark living room, lit only by the candlelight from the 6 jack-o'-lanterns. That's gonna be so neat!
Brenda smiled with pleasure at the thought. She paused in the hallway. With all of the preparations, she had almost forgotten about her plan. Now her smile faded as she entered her room to get undressed for her shower. The clown costume was suspended on a hanger over the closet door.
After my shower, I'll take it over to Tracy's and make the switch with her.
Brenda turned away from the closet door and gasped. On the bed, sprawled face down over the cover, lay her little brother, his arms and legs outstretched, a dark puddle of blood beside him on the bedspread.
Randy!
Gasping for air, she stumbled toward her bed, reaching for his shoulders.
Randy? Gotcha!
Randy raised his head from the pink bedspread and grinned at her.
No!
Randy, how could you? You scared me to death! Plastic blood? I don't believe I fell for plastic blood.
I got it at the party store. It looks real, doesn't it?
Get out of here! Off my bed, come on, out!
Gotcha! Gotcha! Gotcha!
Oh, what a scare. And just think, tomorrow will be even scarier.
By 9 o'clock the following night, the shadowy living room was bursting with party guests in an astounding array of costumes. Brenda counted 2 Freddy Kruegers, 2 unraveling mummies, and 2 kids wearing dark suits and masks of the President of the United States. One girl, a senior named Elisa, didn't appear to be in costume. She was wearing a very short, silky blue party dress, but no mask.
Elisa, who are you supposed to be?
Hi, Bran. Can't you tell? I'm Cindy Crawford.
Elisa pointed to the mole she had painted above her upper lip.
Right, nice costume.
The party was going well. The sweet aroma of the hot mulled cider floated over the room. The row of jack-o'-lanterns against the wall glowed eerily, casting strange shadows along the floor and up to the orange and black crepe paper strung just above everyone's heads. Music pounded from the stereo. The gorilla circulated through the room, carrying a tray of tiny hot dogs and rolls. The monk stood hunched beside the fireplace, masked beneath her heavy, dark hood, leaning close to hear what a masked Princess Di was saying to her. Finding it hard to move around in the crowded living room, the peacock eventually removed its tail, tossing it into the downstairs bedroom where all the coats had been draped over the bed. Half an hour later, the crowded room had become hot and steamy. The candles and the jack-o'-lanterns had lowered. The grinning pumpkin heads sent out dim, flickering light over the dancing couples. Having served the last of the cocktail hot dogs, the gorilla sat in a folding chair against the wall. Across the room, the clown danced energetically with one of the mummies. One of the Frankensteins had his arm around the bare shoulders of Cindy Crawford. No one paid any attention as another Frankenstein stepped up beside the gorilla's chair. No one saw the gleam of the kitchen knife in the Frankenstein's hand. The hand moved quickly, a swift sideways move, and the knife blade plunged into the gorilla's chest. No one could hear the gorilla's strangled cry from beneath the heavy mask. It tried to rise, then dropped heavily back onto the chair as the knife was pulled out. No one saw the gorilla's head slump forward on its chest. And no one paid attention as the Frankenstein monster slipped quietly away into the deep shadows. In the shadowy room, everyone turned to the source of the screams and saw a long-nosed witch tear off her rubber mask and point to the gorilla, slumped at such an odd angle in the folding chair.
Ew, look, there's blood!
All eyes stared with horror at the puddle of blood under the gorilla's chair.
No, it's a joke.
Oh, come on, set straight. What a goof.
Yeah, it's a joke.
I did that. I wasn't scared. Who's in the gorilla suit? Come on, take off your mask.
You can get up now. You've scared us enough.
Hey, who is it? Is it Brenda's cousin?
Yeah, it's Halley. Come on, get up, Halley. The joke's over.
But the gorilla didn't move. And suddenly a figure was moving quickly through the room. The white-faced clown made its way up to the chair, arms outstretched, and began to shake the gorilla by its shoulders.
Halley!
Still, there was no reply. Letting go of the hairy shoulders, the clown tugged at the gorilla mask, which pulled up easily, revealing a face with eyes closed, mouth gaping open. Copper-colored hair fell behind the lifeless head.
Brenda! Oh, no, it's Brenda!
What? And she's dead. She's been stabbed.
The clown figure dropped the gorilla mask, which bounced on the carpet beside the puddle of blood. Then the clown tore off her own mask.
Tracy, why are you wearing Brenda's costume?
Yes,
Somebody call the police.
Yeah, call 911, somebody.
Suddenly, the dark-robed monk burst through the tight crowd. Dina tossed back her hood. Her eyes were narrowed with fury. Raising her robed arm, she pointed an accusing finger.
You killed her, Tracy.
What?
You and your stupid murder plot. You killed Brenda.
No, I didn't. I didn't kill anyone.
Now a third figure moved to the front of the room. The peacock, who removed the blue and green mask to reveal a bewildered-looking Halley.
Halley, that's my costume.
She forced me, Tracy. Brenda forced me to switch costumes with her. I didn't understand why.
Whoa! Brenda traded costumes with me. She took my peacock costume, and I took the clown costume.
And then she gave me the peacock costume. She made me trade. Brenda took the gorilla suit.
But why?
Tracy, you idiot. You thought you were killing Halley. And you stabbed your best friend instead.
Tracy?
No! Stop!
Stop it! Stop!
It was you, wasn't it, Halley?
Huh?
You forced Brenda to switch costumes with you, didn't you, Halley? You made Brenda take the gorilla suit, and then you stabbed her.
No, I didn't stab anyone. You plotted to kill me, Tracy. I heard you. I heard every word. But your plot backfired. You killed the wrong girl.
Oh, no, it wasn't me. How could I change into a Frankenstein costume so quickly, huh? I couldn't.
Frankenstein costume?
Yes, Brenda was stabbed by someone in a Frankenstein costume. It was part of our plot.
Then it was Ted. Ted stabbed Brenda.
There are two Frankensteins here. One of them is Ted. Where are you, Ted? Ted!
From among the clustered, shocked guests, two Frankensteins stepped forward and lifted up their masks. Tracy recognized Brad Mitchell and Tony Alexander.
But Ted? Where are you, Ted?
Has anyone seen Ted?
Now one of the mummies stepped forward, tugging away the gauze from around his face.
Ted isn't here.
Noah! You're here!
Ted didn't come. He's home, sick. He has the flu. You can call his house. His parents will tell you.
Oh, but that's impossible. He was supposed to be here in the Frankenstein costume and...
He couldn't come. He has the flu. It's true, Tracy.
Suddenly, Noah's face froze in horror. Slowly, he raised his trembling hand to point toward the chair.
Oh, my God.
All eyes followed his terrified gaze. In the straight-backed chair, Brenda moved.
Oh, my God.
Slowly, the corpse raised its head above the dark gorilla body and stared into the startled faces of her friends. The eyes blinked, and the mouth moved.
Happy Halloween. The joke is over, and so is the party.
Brenda, are you okay?
Hallie, get everyone out of here, okay? Tell them all to go home.
Okay, you guys, come on.
As Halley turned to obey Brenda's instructions, Brenda made her way into the kitchen, waddling heavily in the furry gorilla suit, followed by Tracy and Dina. In the harsh kitchen light, their faces were red and perspiring.
You're alive. Brenda, you're alive.
No thanks to someone. The plot is over, And now I know which one of you tried to kill me.
But Brenda...
Without warning, Brenda lunged forward, grabbed the front of Dina's monk robe, and ripped it open, revealing the green costume underneath.
I knew it.
As Dina pulled angrily from Brenda's grasp, a rubber mask fell out of the sleeve of the monk's robe, bounced to the linoleum, and stared up at them. A green and black Frankenstein mask.
Yes, that's right. I stabbed you, Brenda. So why aren't you dead? Why?
I'm a good seamstress, remember? I sewed a double-thick pad of foam rubber into the front of this gorilla suit.
How did you know? How did you know it was me?
All those horrible things you did to me, Dina. All those horrible things.
You were supposed to think it was Halley!
Uh-huh. At first I did think it was Halley. But then I realized, Dina. I realized it was you.
How? How did you know?
The blood on the wall. It had to be animal blood. The headless bird and the pumpkin, another animal. Chunks of rotten meat in my bed. They were dog food. Spoiled dog food. I put it together, Dina. Your job. After school every day at the veterinarian's office. It was easy for you to get that stuff.
You knew? You knew before the party?
Everyone's gone. Dina, you thought I was in the gorilla suit. You thought you were stabbing me. Why, Dina? What did I ever do to you?
I knew you weren't in the gorilla suit, Halley. I listened at the air vent. I heard you and Brenda trade costumes. I knew I was stabbing Brenda. And Brenda deserves to die.
Why, Dina? Brenda is your friend.
No! She wasn't my friend when I needed her.
What?
When my parents were getting divorced, when they were fighting in court over me. Where were you then, Brenda? Where were you then? You abandoned me, didn't you? You dropped me just when I needed you the most.
But Dina,
And then I saw you doing the same thing to Halley. I saw you shutting her out when she needed you. When she was in the same kind of trouble I'd been in. And it brought it all back, Brenda. It brought it all back. And I knew I had to make you pay.
Dina, I didn't realize...
Oh, save the apologies. I wanted to frighten you, Brenda. I wasn't going to kill you. I just wanted to scare you. But killing was your idea. When you and Tracy decided to really kill Halley, you gave me the idea. That's when I knew I had to kill you, Brenda.
But Dina, Tracy and I never planned to really murder Halley. That was just a trick to draw you out. That whole plot to murder Halley was all for your benefit. We just wanted to trick you into confessing the awful things you'd done to me.
But we never thought you'd try to kill Brenda.
I still want to kill you, Brenda! I really do!
Dina shoved Brenda hard against the kitchen counter, then turned and ran into the living room, her heavy monk robe flowing behind her. Brenda, Tracy, and Halley darted after her.
Dina, stop!
Dina had nearly crossed the shadowy living room when she stumbled over one of the flickering jack-o'-lanterns and toppled onto the floor.
Dina, wait!
No! Let me go! Let me go!
Tangled in the long robe, Dina struggled toward the front door, crawling on her hands and knees like an animal. And then 2 dark uniformed policemen were in the doorway, blocking Dina's path.
Whoa, hold on there, young lady.
All right, now what's going on here? Who called 911?
Later, when everyone had gone, Brenda and Halley sat together over the kitchen table, cradling mugs of steaming hot chocolate in their hands. The house was silent. Brenda's parents were picking up Randy at his friend's house and would soon be home.
I feel so bad. I had no idea Dina had such resentment, such hatred. I didn't deliberately drop Dina as a friend when her parents were divorcing. It was all such a mess back then. I really thought she wanted to be alone.
The police were very gentle and understanding with Dina. I think she'll be okay.
Yeah. Now she'll get the help she needs.
Brenda raised her mug and held it up toward her cousin.
Happy Halloween, cousin.
Happy Halloween. You know, it is a happy Halloween in a way. At least things are different now. I mean, between you and me.
Yeah. I guess you could say that you and I have finally taken off our masks.
Yuck! Just look at all this mess. Let's clean it up tomorrow. What do you say?
You know, I think you and I are starting to understand each other really well.
In Halloween Night, Brenda was played by Tony Barry. Halley, Stacey Jefferson. Dina, Jill Schilling. Tracy, Danica Fairman. Ted, Mike Fitzpatrick. Noah, James Good. Mrs. Morgan, Kate Harper. Mr. Morgan and the narrator, Bill DeFries. Halloween Night was adapted by William Roberts and produced by Ann Rosenfeld. This is a Story Circle production for Scholastic Publications.